Sarasota just landed on the Michelin map. We're back in America's top 10 places to move, and there are HOA rules you can legally ignore. We'll get into all three plus a whole lot more on this edition of Local Intel. All right, welcome to Local Intel, the Gulf Coast. I'm your host, Nicholas Rapisardi, broker realtor for simpliHŌM here in Sarasota, Florida. As always, this is a hand-picked curation I put together every month for Local Intel that I enjoy sharing with you. If you have anything you'd like me to cover, leave it in the comments below. And stick around because at the end, I've got your full market update for Sarasota and Manatee County. Here's the teaser. For the first time in a while, our two counties are not telling the same story. Prices went one way in Sarasota and the other way in Manatee, same month. I'll show you what's driving it and what it means for your next move. So let's see what's happening. Let's start with a big one from our food scene. For the first time ever, Sarasota landed on the Michelin Guide. This is the first year Michelin covered the entire state of Florida, and 3 Sarasota restaurants made the cut. Lucky 8, the New Orleans-inspired spot in Southside Village, which is in the Hillview area right south of downtown Sarasota, they earned a Bib Gourmand, which is Michelin's award for great food at a great value. It is run by chef and co-owner Mark Marjorie and is the only Sarasota restaurant to earn the bib this year. And 2 more received the Michelin nod, Focaccia Sandwich and Bakery and Trillia, a gourmet pizza spot over in Gulfgate. Good stuff. Here's why this matters for the coast. A Michelin nod can instantly turn a restaurant into a destination. People literally plan trips around Michelin dining. For years, we've had to drive to Tampa for this. Now, Sarasota is on the map, and that's a big win for this area's reputation. Honestly, I haven't tried any of these places, but if you have, please leave a comment below on how they are. Let me know which one I should try first. Staying in the food world, and this is a fun follow-up. Last month, I told you about Alpine Steakhouse getting the Guy Fieri Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives treatment. Well, Alpine is back in the news. Their wine cellar is getting a well-deserved spotlight. It's a temperature-controlled space that holds 2,200 bottles. Co-owner Matt Rebhan said it was a 15-year vision for him. Being able to store and pour wines at the proper temperature puts Alpine into a whole other tier. And for a Sarasota institution that's been family-run since the 70s and is famous for its turducken, it's a classy move. Now over to UTC, where the growth just does not stop. University Town Center just announced 13 new retailers and eateries coming in. On the food side, you've got Playa Bowls with acai bowls and smoothies, Pure Green with cold pressed juices going in next to Pure Bar, and Zen Dumpling over in the shops near Marshall's, known for handcrafted dumplings and bao buns. On the retail side, West Elm is under construction next to LL Bean with an 18,000 square foot home store. There's a new Body Hot Pilates studio coming as well. IKEA is still on track to open at UTC this summer. And looking further out, Dick's House of Sport is slated for 2027. If you're wondering if Dick's House of Sport has anything to do with Dick's Sporting Goods, it does. House of Sport is an immersive, experiential megastore concept by Dick's Sporting Goods. While traditional stores are primarily retail spaces, House of Sport locations are massive entertainment hubs, often 120,000 square feet or more, that feature outdoor tracks, climbing walls, batting cages, and golf simulators so customers can test products before buying. That's legit. The consistent influx of national brands we keep seeing come to UTC underscores the immense strength of our market. Lots of cool stuff. And out on the islands, 2 new shops are coming to St. Armand's Circle. St. Armand's Jewelers is taking over the old jewelry by Cole space at 7 North Boulevard of the Presidents under new ownership. And a small batch sweets shop is opening a second location on the Circle. The original is over on Pine Avenue on Anna Maria Island, and they're known for their chocolate truffles and their signature saltwater taffy. St. Armand's remains one of the best shopping and dining spots in the country, and new tenants there are always a good sign. The website links to all those are below this video at the bottom of the description, so you can check them out in your own time. All right, let's get into what's growing, because there are some big projects reshaping our area right now. Big bucks, big sound. The Sarasota Orchestra is building a brand new music center on Fruitville Road, and it just picked up another $11.7 million gift from an anonymous donor. That brings the total raised so far to nearly $87 million. The campus will sit on 32 acres at 5701 Fruitville Road, right near I-75. At the heart of it is an 1,800-seat concert hall, and here's the cool part. It's the first concert hall on Florida's Gulf Coast built specifically for acoustic music. There's also a smaller recital hall and education center. They just released new renderings, and they're aiming to break ground in 2027. How cool is that? It's a great aerial view with downtown Sarasota in the background. I like how there's water in the front towards the road and the music center is at the back of the property. I love this. You know what I love most about this If you've ever had center or near center seats at Van Wezel and you're late or like even 5 minutes before the show, you have to walk right next to all the people down the aisle, which is like 25, 30 people just to get to your seat. There's no aisle up the middle. This new music center will have 2 aisles. I love it. I'm really excited for this. Now, quick clarification because this trips people up. The Music Center on Fruitville Road is not the same thing as the Sarasota Performing Arts Center I mentioned last month down at the Bay. These are 2 separate projects, 2 different organizations. The point is, Sarasota is about to have world-class venues on both sides of town, which is really awesome for the region. Next up, the city of Sarasota is reshaping Main Street downtown. It's called the Main Street Complete Streets Project. They're redesigning the whole 1.2-mile stretch from US 41 down to School Avenue. Think wider sidewalks, more shade and tree canopy, better crossings, and a more walkable feel. The city put out 3 design concepts and asked the public whether Main Street should lean toward traditional, historic, or coastal. Here is concept A, traditional. Concept B, historic. And here's concept C, coastal. I like concept C, then A. Let me know which one you like in the comments below. The big debate is on-street parking, and the merchants have strong opinions on that. There's more public input coming later this year before they lock in a final design. Here's the value play here. A more walkable, beautiful Main Street isn't just nice to look at. It drives foot traffic, helps downtown businesses, and supports property values for everything nearby. This is the kind of long game investment that makes a downtown more valuable over time. Okay, one more in this section, and it's a great follow-up. Last month, I told you the Anna Maria Island City Pier rebuild was reaching the decking stage. Well, the pier is officially getting its restaurant back. The Anna Maria City Commission just approved a 5-year lease with local group GSM Partners operating as Paradise. They're taking over the larger building that used to be Moat Marine. The plan is a bigger, better bar and grill that's family-friendly with live local music and bait and tackle for the anglers. They're aiming to be up and running by November. There's a lot of new home news on the coast right now. Let's start up in Parrish, where Sierre is taking shape. Sierre is North Manatee County's first lagoon community. It's being built by Metro Development Group around a 4-acre lagoon. And we're talking a real lagoon. Sandy beach, swim-up bar, cabanas, kayaking, the whole thing comes online this year. It's a big one, 1,155 acres, around 3,000 homes at full build-out. There are 7 builders in there, which are Lennar, Pulte, D.R. Horton, M.I. Homes, Dream Finders, Park Square, and Perry Homes. And here's the part that matters. Single-family homes start from the 300s and townhomes in the high 200s. About 15% of the community is already sold. They have high-speed internet built in, golf cart and EV paths, and restaurants with a grocer on the way. Resort living in the 300s. That's awesome. It's not hard to see why Parrish is booming. Now let's head south into Sarasota County down to Welland Park, where Brightmoor is making noise. Brightmoor is Welland Park's first 55-plus community, built by Mattamy, the same group developing all of Welland Park. It's small and exclusive, with fewer than 650 homes offering paired villas starting from the high 300s and single-family homes from the low 400s. And the amenities are really great for an active adult community. An 11-acre amenity campus with a 21,000-square-foot clubhouse, resort-style pool, and lap pool, plus pickleball courts, including a full stadium for pickleball court tournaments. And the cool thing is, you're right down the street from Cool Today Park, where the Atlanta Braves hold their spring training every March. For anybody moving down here to live that active 55-plus lifestyle, this one belongs on your list. Good stuff. You know, working with buyers week in and week out, the 55-plus demand right now is real. And it's not what you think. These aren't people slowing down. They're active. They want pickleball. They want the social calendar. They want to be busy. And Welland Park nailed it. That's why it keeps pulling them in. It's resort-style living without the resort price tag. That's a tough combo to beat. You've got the beaches close, downtown Welland for dining and events, and the Braves right there for spring training. A lot of my out-of-state buyers tell me the same thing. They came down here to visit family or catch a game, fell in love with the area, went home, got everything in order, and came back to call this home. Brightmoor is built for exactly that buyer. And back up here in Sarasota proper, we've got something rare. This new home community has been around for about 2 years, and they're still building in there. But I want to bring it to your attention because it's less than 10 minutes to downtown Sarasota. It's called Gracewater at Sarasota, and it's located on the old Rolling Green Golf Club site on North Tuttle Ave. Pravada Homes and Lee Weatherington Homes are building the single-family homes, and David Weekley for the paired villas. Around 484 homes total, starting in the high 600s and the villas in the mid 400s. Resort-style pool, clubhouse, fitness, pickleball, and even a dog park called Peppa's Park. Here's the kicker. New construction this close to downtown almost never happens. The land just isn't there anymore. So a brand new home, 10 minutes from the bayfront and the arts, that's a location that holds its value. If any of these communities are on your radar, that's exactly what I do every day. Click the link below and book a call. No pressure, just clarity. Now, a quick Silicon Coast watch update. Last month, I told you about TENEX.AI, our homegrown Sarasota cybersecurity unicorn. Well, the story keeps getting bigger. CEO Eric Foster is now openly talking about taking the company public and going IPO. In its first year after landing its first contract, TENEX booked around $25 million in contracted revenue. They're still in the process of building their headquarters on Bee Ridge Road while scaling toward about 300 employees and expanding into Europe. A homegrown company going from startup to IPO talk right here on the coast. That's the Silicon Coast brand in real time. What's coming up? This one's worth the day trip. At least I think so. The Art of Banksy is coming to the Strass Center in Tampa August 1st through the 30th. It's billed as the world's largest privately owned collection of authenticated Banksy works. More than 160 pieces, prints, canvases, sculptures, and the famous Girl with Balloon. There's even a Banksy Mona Lisa that was once owned by Brad Pitt. Tickets will start around $30, and if you're an art lover, that's a fun summer drive up to Tampa. All right, one last segment before we get into the numbers. Here's what the bigger picture items are telling us about the coast. Sarasota is back in the top 10 U.S. cities people are moving to. This is the 2026 Pods Moving Trends Report, and Sarasota came in at number 9. That's a comeback because we fell off the list entirely last year. And here's the interesting wrinkle. This year, the number one reason people are locating isn't a job, it's affordability. 58% of movers said affordability was their top motivator. So Sarasota making the list while affordability is the driving factor tells you something. People still want to be here, and our market is giving them a reason to make that move. And honestly, that ranking lines up exactly with what I'm seeing. I work with out-of-state buyers regularly, and the number one thing I hear now isn't the weather, it's the value. People are comparing what their money buys up north versus down here, and the coast keeps winning. And when you factor in the no state income tax, the math just makes sense. But here's the thing, they're not rushing in. They're doing their homework, comparing neighborhoods, and watching the numbers. That's the calculated buyer I keep talking about. And they're not just buying a house, they're buying the lifestyle, and you can't get this one anywhere else. They still pick the coast, they're just smarter about how they get here. And honestly, can you blame them? The number one beach in America is right down the road. I moved my whole life here too back in 2009, so I get it. Once you see it, it's hard to pick anywhere else. Now, let's do something a little different with the value segment. HOA rules you can ignore. I see a lot of confusion around HOAs, so let's clear some up. Here are the HOA rules that sound real, but that Florida law says you usually do not have to follow. Quick disclaimer first. I'm a real estate broker, not an attorney, so always check your specific HOA documents and talk to a real estate attorney about your situation. But here's the general lay of the land in Florida. Number 1, your HOA generally cannot stop you from displaying the American flag. That's protected by federal law and Florida law. They can set reasonable size and placement rules, but they can't ban it. Number 2, they cannot flat out ban solar panels. Florida's solar access law protects your right to install them. Number 3, they cannot stop you from using Florida-friendly landscaping. That's drought-tolerant, water-conserving plants. State law specifically protects this. Number 4, they cannot ban electric vehicle charging stations on your property. Number 5, Florida is a right-to-dry state, so they cannot outright ban clotheslines. Number 6, under newer Florida law, they cannot restrict things that are in your backyard that aren't visible from the street or your neighbor, like a vegetable garden. And number 7, they cannot enforce rules that were never properly adopted, and they cannot fine you without proper notice in a hearing. So the big takeaway here is an HOA's rules and regulations can't override Florida or federal law. And navigating this stuff is exactly the kind of thing I help my clients with every day. So if you're buying or selling in an HOA community, click the link below to book a call with me. No pressure, just clarity. Now let's get into the numbers from the Realtor Association of Sarasota-Manatee. And here's the headline. Buyer demand strengthened. Inventory kept dropping, but prices split between the two counties. So what does this mean? More buyers, less to choose from, in a market that is no longer moving in one single direction. Buyers are active, but they're not rushing. They're taking time to evaluate each property and do their homework. Less emotion, more strategy. The calculated shift is continuing. Real quick, if this is helpful to you, hit subscribe so the channel finds its way back to you next month. All right, back to it. Let me walk you through the 4 trends happening now. Trend 1, buyer demand stayed strong. Closed sales rose in 3 of the 4 segments, and pending sales rose in all 4. Pending sales are the leading indicator. They're the deals in the pipeline, so that's a strong sign heading into summer. In Sarasota County, single-family closings hit 845, up 7.2%. New pending sales ticked higher to 11.4% with 808. In Manatee County, single-family closings were basically flat with 782, down just 0.5%. But new pendings there surged 839 with a solid beat of 19.2%. On the condo and townhome side, Sarasota closings rose 8.5% with 371. And another solid beat with new pendings at 13.2% with 342. And Manatee condo and townhome closings rose 8.7% with 288. With new pendings up 4.6% with 272. So what does this tell you? Buyers didn't sit out. They got busy. Working with buyers and sellers 5-6 days a week, I'm seeing exactly that. More serious buyers, more showings, more offers going out and coming in. The numbers don't lie with pending sales up in every single segment. Trend 2. Inventory kept tightening. Active listings dropped by double digits in every county and property type. That's a big deal. Sarasota single-family inventory fell 25.2% to 3,099 homes. Giving it 4.4 months of supply, down 33.3%. Manatee's single-family inventory also fell at 11.8% to 2,832 homes. Giving Manatee County 4.4 months of supply, down 15.4%. Sarasota condo and townhome inventory fell 13.2% to 2,149. With 7.1 months of supply, down 22.8%. And Manatee condo and townhome inventory fell as well at 16.9% to 1,452 units. With 6.3 months of supply, down 20.3%. And here's the headline inside the headline. Both counties are now at just 4.4 months of single-family supply. Anything under about 5 or 6 months is considered a seller-leaning market. So single-family has tipped below balanced in both counties. Condos and townhomes are still giving buyers more room at 7.1 months in Sarasota and 6.3 in Manatee. Trend 3, prices split by county. Now, this is the most important trend this month. Prices did not move in the same way in both counties. In Sarasota County, the single-family median rose 2.2% to $475,000. But in Manatee County, the single-family median fell 3.8% to $460,000. On the condo side, Sarasota's median rose 4.9% to $336,829. While Manatee's condo median fell 5.1% to $297,000. Here's the kicker. This is why you can't trust one headline number for the whole region. Sarasota prices are up. Manatee prices are down in the same month. And get this, even where the median fell, the average price rose in both counties. Manatee's average single-family price actually climbed 4.5%. That tells you the high end is pulling the average up where the middle softens. The numbers don't lie, but you have to read them right. Trend 4, luxury and cash stayed strong. The upper end of the market is doing a lot of the heavy lifting. In Sarasota County, condo and townhome sales over $1 million rose 40.7% with 38 sales. Sales in the 1.25 to 1.49 million range tripled. Wow. In Manatee County, single-family sales from $3 million to just under $5 million jumped 83.3%. Another solid beat there. And 5 homes sold between $5 and $10 million. And cash is still doing the talking. Cash made up 42% of Sarasota single-family sales. And on the condo side in Sarasota, cash was 61.5%. Cash is king. Here's the value play here. Sellers are still getting strong numbers relative to list. Sarasota single-family sellers got a median of 94.2% of original list. Manatee single-family sellers got 95.4%. That's actually up from a year ago in both counties. So well-priced homes are still moving close to ask. So what's the local intel takeaway? If you're a buyer, single-family inventory is tightening fast and is now underbalanced in both counties. So move with intent on the right home, but you've got real opportunity in condos and townhomes where there's more supply. And if you're looking in Manatee, where the median actually came down, there's a window there. If you're a seller, price it right and the data says it'll move, often close to your asking number. But the days of just naming a price are over. Today's buyer is calculated and they do their homework. Your pricing strategy has to match that. And this whole report proves my biggest point. The region is not one market. Sarasota and Manatee told 2 different price stories this month. That's why working with someone who knows the Gulf Coast block by block and has access to the specific data needed matters more than ever. The numbers don't lie. What I just reported is exactly what I'm seeing out in the field. So here's the bottom line. This is a market where being calculated matters. Buyers, sellers, and especially anyone navigating 2 counties that are moving in different directions. Don't make your next move a guess. Make it a calculated one. If you'd like to know more about your community or one that interests you, click the link below to book a call with me. Let's look at the data together for your exact situation. Whether you're buying or selling in Sarasota, Bradenton, Lakewood Ranch, Parrish, Venice, or Keys, anywhere on the Gulf Coast. That's what I do. No pressure, just clarity. I hope you got value out of this episode. If you did, hit that like button and subscribe so you get these every month. And share it with somebody who's thinking about making a move. It helps the channel a lot, and it helps me keep making these for you. All right, that's your local intel for the Gulf Coast. I'm your host, Nicholas Rapisardi. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.